The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the coalition or any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Throwdown.
What is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 142. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and today I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How you doing?
Carlos Romero.
What is up?
Brian Manjoma.
Yo.
And Brett Murdoch.
I know y'all meant me.
All right. No Chris action. He is actually sick. And Adam got pulled into the Twilight Zone. We don't know what happened to this man.
He's entered another dimension. And it might be family things. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. It could be, Brett, there's the show notes. I forgot to pull them up for myself. I wanted to say something so bad, but I'm not going to read the real issue at the beginning. Female penises. God damn it. All right. So before
our pre-show discussions are amazing.
Oh my God. The world we've literally entered the Twilight Zone, man. Okay, so before we start, a couple of things here. I want to give a huge shout out to my unofficial cousin, Jose Polanco. He's actually Joey, but I've always called him Jose, So, okay, take it back a little bit, right? So I was playing some like retro games and stuff on my computer and stuff. Like, I got emulations and all that shit. I'm like, God, this is a pain in the ass. Like doing all this rigmarole just to get them to play on my TV. I'm like, I know Joey has a fucking Raspberry Pi. I'm gonna get this motherfucker to build this shit for me, So he built me a retro Pi, and I've been playing some shit on it. I'm fucking loving it. So Joey, Jose, thank you, man. Fucking amazing. That's how you do it, people. If you can't build it yourself, pay somebody.
What you got on it?
Huh?
What you got on it?
Fuck. Literally like hundreds of games for like all the old school consoles. He went through some Nintendo 64 shit in there,
wow.
But I got everything. I think it's pretty much the entire libraries of the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Game Gear, Game Boy. Everything's on this shit, and I just told him, like, listen, man, just build it. I'll send you the money and we're good. And it got here mad fast. So thank you, man. Retro gaming for life. The only kind of snag is like, it won't, I have to use I don't have to use the Super Nintendo controller, but like the whole interface is based around the Super Nintendo controller, kind of, right? So playing Genesis games is a little weird, like if I want to use the top buttons on the 6-button Genesis, like L is X, X is Y, and R is Z. It's a little weird.
A lot of the emulators do allow you to readjust your buttons, so you might be able to do that. You have to just check to see if there's an option.
Yeah, but my point is like it isn't adjusted to have like 6 buttons on the face. You know what I mean? Kind of. But no, it works great actually. So again, got to give the dude a shout out. Okay, so tonight is a little bit of a weird show because nothing super big happened, but a lot of smaller stuff happened. So that's what we're gonna do. Old school Throwdown, man. You know how we used to do it back in the day. I'm pretty sure the young guys like, what are you talking about?
Well, what are you talking about?
This is Throwdown.
I've always had that, guys.
and
right,
the old heads are gonna be like, you guys are gonna talk about movies and shit.
Yeah, right. That's true. Okay, man. So let's get to it. NPDs for June, man. Brian, I'm going straight to number 3 here, man. Grand Theft Auto, number 3, dude.
Woo, the game keeps selling, man. Rockstar must be just loving themselves.
They don't need to make any more games. They really don't.
No.
They're going to make Red Dead and then just ride that for the next 6 years.
Mm-hmm. I can see that, but even then, even with Red Dead, I can still see Grand Theft Auto still being up there,
And I have a theory about this. It's not a theory. It's just like anecdotal evidence that is telling me like why Grand Theft Auto keeps selling and selling, other than the fact that it's a super popular game that's like a fucking Rockstar game. But for example, my nephew, he's like 6-7 years old. He watches YouTube the whole time, right? He's always watching YouTube on his iPad or on the TV, and he watches these YouTube influencers, these people who make these videos and like are pretty much a whole advertisement for video games. So what he sees is them playing Grand Theft Auto 5 all the time, So all he wants to do is play Grand Theft Auto 5. The problem is that his parents, my sister and my brother-in-law, don't want to buy him the game because it's too mature, you know? And so he's just waiting for the time where he's allowed to be able to buy the game to play it. So what I'm guessing is all these kids, man, their parents are like getting them the game because they've been wanting it. So I'm like, there's a lot of kids, man, that are barely going to be able to play that game because their parents are about to let them play a mature game.
Yeah, that and your theory segues into what Brett has always been saying. A 16-year-old is, made every day, basically. Somebody turns 16 every day. And what do they want? Motherfucking Grand Theft Auto.
Yep.
They've been waiting for it since they were little kids. Think about it like this, right? This game came out in 2013, right? Some people were probably kids back then, maybe 11, 10 years old. Now they can actually buy this shit for themselves. It's crazy, man.
They've done a great job of keeping it relevant with its online play. I mean,
just
GTA,
just this week they have a new update, and it's all free. It's all free.
I think we can safely say that GTA would not be holding this slot if GTA Online were not a thing.
Yeah, it is because of GTA Online. It's totally because of GTA Online.
Okay, well, but we look at that then, and we look at what other games on the market can provide you with the same experience that GTA Online can? None. There are none.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try and say The Division, and I'd laugh at you.
Yeah. The Division tried, but it didn't really get there.
Lots of games tried, but nobody has really been able to replicate the experience. So, I mean, even though it's an old game, first of all, keep in mind it was fucking bleeding edge when it came out. Like it was a solid put together game that has honestly stood up to the test of time. Like it doesn't even look like a 5 or 6 year old game. And remember, this game was fucking made it was made for last gen consoles.
Yeah.
And then it was upgraded for this gen consoles, and it's still holding up. So you have a game that still looks good, still plays good, still has a heavy user base, is still in a lot of YouTube videos. It is still relevant. It's going to just keep churning out more and more and more. At this point, my main question is, what are the total number of copies sold versus the total number of total consoles in the wild across all platforms?
Yeah, I don't know how many consoles are out there in the wild, but wasn't GTA like around 140 million sold or something? I could be completely wrong, by the way.
That doesn't sound ridiculous to me, but like, how many PlayStations are in the wild?
Roughly 65 million or so.
Okay, that kind of brings my point. It seems like there's more copies of the game sold now than there are things to play the game on.
Well, again, we talked about this before, with the exception of Manny, of course. Each of us on the show has bought the game like minimum twice. I bought it 3 times.
I know, but just that is staggering. I don't know how you quantify success other than I have sold more copies of this game than there are systems to play it on.
That sounds like that's actually what's happening with Zelda.
Okay, no, that's the one thing I did want to point out. Like, I kind of looked at this expecting to see like, and I'm shocked to see Nintendo on here as much as they are.
I'm shocked that at least for America, I'm being proven wrong about Horizon and Zelda. Zelda's kicking Horizon's ass all the time in NPDs. But at the same time, I'm surprised Horizon's still on this shit. I'm surprised both of these games are still on this shit.
Zelda's on there without digital sales too.
Yeah, which is insane, And
by the way, ARMS is still on here?
Well, ARMS just made it on there. That's its debut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember, ARMS is from June. By the way, we should probably scroll down through these real quick. Number 1 game was Tekken 7. Number 2 game was Injustice 2. Really good showing for fighting games there. Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 3. Here's the one that surprised me. Crash Bandicoot, number 4. Legend of Zelda.
It debuted at number 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
That's not a new game, is it? That's a collection.
No, that's just the old fucking games.
Yeah.
Number 5 is ARMS. Number 6, Legend of Zelda. Number 7, Mario Kart. Number 8, Overwatch. That's another one that's not going anywhere. NBA 2K is number 9, and Horizon is number 10. Yeah, that's a lot of Nintendo games in here. I'm surprised. 3 fucking Nintendo games. 5, 6, and 7 are Nintendo games.
And this going on with all the shortages still. Although I hear that they're getting a little bit better. That's just word on the street.
Oh, and by the way, I mean, the Nintendo Switch beat the fucking Xbox in sales.
Did it? I haven't scrolled down that far.
Number one seller was PS4. Number 2 was the Switch, and number 3 was the Xbox.
Wait, didn't I guess that? Remember we were talking about?
Yeah, you guessed it. See, this is shit I'm talking about, man. On Throwdown, we know what we're talking about, man.
Yeah, because people thought we were crazy that we said that PS4 was going to outsell it on NPDs this month.
Yeah,
it's like, no, man, it's a Switch was going to beat it.
I don't know why people are assuming that, like, yes, Switch is selling well, but it doesn't have the copies. Like, it can't sell more than PlayStation. They're not making enough.
Yeah, it can, exactly. Yeah. But it's selling more than Xbox.
Oh.
Oh, God. Oh, by the way, this is from May of this year, I believe. Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 80 million copies. That's not digital, by the way. So imagine digital thrown in there. Fucking ridiculous, man. But yeah, you're right about that. It's like there's not enough Switches out there. And I'm going to say this now. I think, yeah, you know what I'm just going to say? Because, again, obviously, here's the thing, right? I know there's some people out there that think that if you change your position on things, you're being a hypocrite. I'm like, if you get new information, you should update your fucking opinion, right? I'm going to say this right now.
Wait. Do we need to brace ourselves for this one?
No, you don't. This is so fucking obvious. I'm saying this right now, right? Because I did say before that I thought the Xbox One X or Scorpio back in the day was going to win NPDs this holiday. I changed my fucking mind. I made a video about this. I believe if Nintendo gets their shit together, it's going to beat both the PS4 and fucking Xbox this holiday easily if they get their shit together. When it comes to shipments and stuff, but I don't think that Xbox, we'll talk about Xbox in a bit. I don't think Xbox is going to do anything for NPDs, to be honest. Switch, they get their shit together, it's fucking over.
But even if the Switch is still the same, like doing like whether like low manufacturing stuff, you still think that PS4 is going to outsell the Xbox One, including Scorpio and
S? Because remember, it's really PlayStation 4 versus Xbox. They're going to combine all that shit together. You know why? Okay, again, before I saw the E3 presentation, I was like, Xbox is going to help them win at least November. Afterwards, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know now, because okay, you have this system, right? It is worth $500, but what the fuck are you really going to be playing on this thing?
Okay, I've got a point to make, and I want people to hear it.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to start off by insulting the Xbox and getting everybody's attention.
Okay.
Remember last generation? Maybe I'll go different. Remember last generation how Xbox was essentially an inferior piece of hardware? Okay, now everybody's listening. Yet it still managed to hold a vast chunk of the market. Well, why is that? Well, because you tend to go and play on the system that all your friends are playing on. Ecosystem has a lot to do with sales. Apple knows this. Lots of people know this. This is no surprise. So flash forward to this generation, it's going to be hard for Microsoft, no matter what they do, to turn the tide mid-generation, because everybody is already invested in the ecosystem of the PlayStation right now. Now, when time comes for everybody to buy a new console again, everybody's going to have the discussion with their friends, and they're going to decide collectively what they're going to buy as a group. And that's going to lock in who's the leader for most of that generation. That has been the way it has always been, and it will probably be the way that it always is. So, no, there is no magic thing that Microsoft can do to pull their feet out of the fire and put themselves into first place by the end of this generation. I don't care if they come out with an Xbox that can read your goddamn mind, because a lot of people, their biggest priority is playing games with their friends. And so if you have one friend who has an Xbox and 5 friends who have PlayStation, guess what you're going to buy? Even if it were an inferior product, you're going to buy a PlayStation. So nobody should really be surprised by the fact that we're saying that Sony is going to continue to dominate, because they already have such a large market share. It isn't fanboyism. It's just the idea that this is how it's always been.
But the one thing we did see, though, from last generation, despite Xbox having control of everything, I mean, eventually PlayStation went on to sell more than the original Xbox.
And I have a theory about that. And my theory is, and I say it as a theory because I can't prove this, but my theory is that there were a lot of people in my situation whose Xboxes died mid-generation and they made the jump. And that goes back to, well, if you're buying a system and looking at buying a system, then you may look outside of your brand. So when I got through my second Xbox 360, I said, fuck this shit. And I didn't buy another one. And I know several people that were kind of in the same camp, and that basically let the needle slowly tilt. And it took an entire generation for that shit to happen too. For PlayStation to get more saturation into the marketplace, for it to be a more viable option. But yeah, towards the end of the generation, I had many more friends to play with on PlayStation than I did at the beginning of the generation, when everybody and their brother was on 360, because we had all just come from the Xbox.
Yeah. By the way, this is probably because we kind of smoothly transitioned to the next topic. So Carlos, put that stamp right here, right now. So our friend Michael Pachter made another Captain Obvious fucking statement this week. So he says he doesn't think that the Xbox One X will do well this holiday season. Yeah, dude, come on. It's fucking $500 compared to a $400 Pro, which is probably going to be $350, and a $300 Switch. Come on, man. Like the Xbox One S is going to outsell the X. Let's just be honest. Here's the thing. I don't think it's going to do terribly though, because the hardcore enthusiast guys will definitely be buying the X, but it's not going to be closing the gap like a lot of these guys wanted to. I know a lot of Xbox guys were really upset over the prices. Like, oh, now they're proving that they don't want to compete. I'm like, Microsoft already told you this console is not there to compete. It's there for you guys, or the hardcore dudes. But yeah, another, again, I like Michael Pachter, but it's another Captain Obvious statement, man. I'm sorry. But going back to what Brett was saying about the PlayStation, here's the thing, right? What really hurt the PlayStation 3 in the beginning, kind of like the Xbox One, regular Xbox One, was the price, right? $600 launch was too fucking much, and the games weren't even there, right? But what they noticed is even when the PlayStation was selling for such a high price, $600, $500, it was still selling more than the Xbox 360. It's just the Xbox 360 had a longer, lead because it had a year, right? Basically, this is the analogy I could come up with, right? Basically, Xbox 360 was running at 30 miles an hour, right? And they were doing that for a year. PlayStation comes in running at 35 miles an hour, right? They're running a little faster, but they're so far behind, it took them a little while to overtake Xbox 360. That's what actually happened last generation. But yeah, I'm also kind of with you on that one. It's like, if you bought how many 360s did you own? Chris owned like 4 of them,
I think I owned a total of 3.
Yeah, Chris owned
two new and 1 refurbed. And I'm not sure if the refurbed one was one of my broken ones sent back to me or a different one.
Yeah, but the point is, you got tired of that shit, right? You're like, fuck this. I'm getting a PlayStation, and a lot of your buddies did the same thing too, Mm-hmm. So that helped too. But so the reason I'm saying all that is because there's some people that have been saying, oh, if it happened with PlayStation 3, it could happen with Xbox. No, it can't, because it's a different situation. Xbox is not overtaking PlayStation in sales at all. Let's just be honest. It's not like it's still running slow no matter what. So it's not going to make this magical comeback.
I feel like also Sony was working a bit harder at trying to gain back people as well. I feel like in that PlayStation 3 generation, we saw a lot of things coming from Sony themselves.
The Sony that began the generation, actually, wait, the way Sony behaved at the beginning of last generation was not the way they behaved at the end of that generation. Exactly. They learned their lesson, right? But here's the thing I'm going to say, Microsoft, and again, I'm trying to be fair to them. I don't think the problem is, even though Don Matrick obviously fucked everything up, right? I still think Phil Spencer has done a generally good job. The problem is a lot of the fans aren't trying to buy these like quirky games and shit. That's the problem. Nobody bought Sunset Overdrive. Nobody bought Ori. Nobody bought all these other games. They just keep buying the same games over and over again. I still believe Microsoft has done a good job trying to get new IPs on the system. But if the fans don't buy them, then you're not going to get anywhere. That's the problem there, But going back to the X here, again, like I said, I changed my whole perspective on the X or Scorpio, right? Before E3, I was like, this thing's going to be a hit this fall, right? Then I see the presentation. I'm like, fuck, there's nothing special about this. It's another PlayStation 4 Pro, basically. Let's just be real here. You can only really enjoy it if you have a 4K TV. You're going to be playing the same games on your Xbox. You could play them on PC. Do you really need this system? You kind of don't. If you are like strapped for cash and you already have an Xbox, you're gonna be playing those same exact games, right? So I don't really see how this thing is gonna like wow anybody. I haven't seen anybody be convinced to buy this thing. It certainly didn't convince me when I saw that presentation. I expected to be like wowed. I was like, okay, what else you got?
Since we got a little bit of time, let me ask the question: would you? And this is two-part. If this were equivalent to the 32X, where it was just something you plugged into your Xbox and paid the difference of $100 to $200 or whatever, and you just plugged into your Xbox and it turned it into.
Brett, you're always with that agenda, man. I love it.
No. I'm wondering, would you be more interested in in buying it then? And do you think it would have a larger market share if that's the way they could have gone with it? I'm basically trying to pinpoint, is the problem the price tag? When you already have somebody who owns a perfectly good Xbox asking them to buy this, is that the problem? Because I don't necessarily see, and my fear is the market is going to see this as like, well, people don't want updated graphics, they don't want more powerful systems. Like, no, they do. They just don't want to spend another $500 when they already have a system that can essentially do all the things that this already does, just not quite as well. You know, it's investing $500 for an upgrade is a lot to ask. Investing $500 for a system is reasonable for a high-end gamer, in my opinion. So my question is, if this were an upgrade, would you have been interested in it? And do you think more people would have been interested in it?
All right. For me, okay, the main reason, again, just being honest, the main reason I'm not worried about the Xbox One X buying one is because my PC is already destroyed, right? But let's take the PC out of the equation, right? If I didn't have a gaming PC, would I get the Xbox One X? Yeah, I probably would, because, you know, for work and shit, I probably would. But let's take that out of the equation. If I was just a regular gamer and I had an Xbox, would I get the Xbox One X? No, I wouldn't. And would I buy it if I could like 32X it? Maybe I may do that. Like if I could like stick something in there for $200, maybe I may do that. But I would need to be convinced that it's a reasonable upgrade to what I already have, you know? So that's my answer to you, dude.
I think that's fair. Like, I don't even want to see iterative or modular consoles. I'd really like to see the next generation of consoles be built with this in mind. Maybe like, hey, maybe we have a port here that we can, you know, run processing power through, or just fucking something that'll allow them to move, or, you know, open the gates as they go down. Like, I don't even need it to be a full modular system. It can be some weird one-time thing. It can even be it can even be a buyback program where they transfer your save data. I just like to see some option other than, you know, and see, like, I guess that's where I get confused, because I don't understand who this Xbox is made for. Like, I understand it's made for the hardcore Xbox guys, but they already have an Xbox.
Yeah, well, again, this is the system for the guys that buy like 11 Xboxes. I'm not exaggerating that number, by the way.
But there aren't that many of those people.
No,
like, it's such a small group that I don't understand. Like, and this is where I get confused. What made everybody think that this was going to be a mass appeal product to begin with?
It would. Oh yeah, you know, it's a good question, because here's the thing. Phil Spencer, he stated, he's like, this is not for everybody. This is for the hardcore guys. But, you know, the crazy Xbox fanboys are like, oh, this is for everybody. I'm like, how did you make that leap, bro? You know, I don't get that.
It's not even for the mildly hardcore. It is for the, like, flush with cash hardcore. Like, I know lots of people who would be hardcore gamers, but even a lot of those people I don't think would spend $500 on an upgrade.
Yeah, I know, man. By the way, just going back to what Pachter was saying, and again, this is some of the shit we've been saying, right?
Yep.
He's saying that he doesn't really see the appeal there for the Xbox One X or the Pro, because, you know, the 4K penetration in America isn't even there yet. He says that he believes that penetration in U.S. households is currently less than 10%. He's like, and worldwide is probably even less than that. So yeah, that
choice of words.
Why is that?
Penetration. I'm like, you could use a different word.
Well, that is the word they use. Market penetration. That's the word they use.
I don't know, I'm just childish, man.
All right. like what other word we use? That's the one they've been using for decades. But yeah, the point is, and then we've said it too. Most people do not have 4K TVs. Why the fuck are you going to be spending $400, $500 on a console for a 4K TV you don't even own? Right. You know? And again, I have the Pro. I don't really notice any benefits, to be honest. Like, you know, I know there's some games that do the higher frames, and that's great, but not every game does that shit. You know, so these iterative consoles are kind of a waste. I'm just being honest. You know. Anyway, I think we you know talked about that enough. So let's move on to Brett's favorite subject here, the Nintendo Switch.
The Switch.
We got to talk. Okay, it's just funny to me, man. Because this week they launched that fucking the chat app, you know, for the Switch, and people are dogging it. The same people that have been championing the Switch have been dogging it, which I find hilarious.
Because it's fucking stupid. It's a dumb idea. Like, look, you only get praise if it actually works. And I'm like, a lot of the praise coming from Nintendo is because they so expertly lowered the bar over the last, I don't know, decade. So like, yeah, they do get a lot of like low-handed balls lobbed at that, but this is just outright stupid. And here's my kind of reverse give or reverse ask. Why the fuck don't they just make a licensed Bluetooth headset? Like the headset I'm talking right now plugs into a little receiver about the size of a thumbstick that plugs into the back of my PC. Why can Nintendo not license that and plug it in one of the USB slots inside the dock? You have the fucking room for it. Why do you? I get basically why you could say like, well, it doesn't come with Bluetooth already in it. And that might be a hard pill to swallow, but at least allow people the fucking the ability to plug something into their goddamn Switch so that it can have a normal headset. Because there is no way in fuck I'm going through my phone. It's just stupid. It's 2017. Come on, people.
Hey, you might as well just use your phone.
Come on, Nintendo. Hey, Adam's here.
I don't know about you guys. At least, well, maybe Brett knows. Are you having a serious storm in your area?
Me? No.
Yeah. Oh, fucking massive storm here. The whole area, we lost power.
Oh,
you know, my cell phone tower, everything went down. I lost my voice yesterday. But, everything went down. Did you get my
I'm glad
text?
You're here then, man.
The text saying I lost power. Did you get it?
Let me see. No.
I knew something was wrong. I'm like, first thing I know is my phone, and then you guys froze, and then everything went black. The whole house went black.
Damn.
So now everything is coming back up, so it's good. All right.
But yeah, so Adam, you know, we're here talking about that Nintendo Switch app. What do you make of that bullshit?
That's the butter app. That's the best app ever. I'm so hyped. I'm getting 2 of those apps. Oh my God, that is embarrassing. I can't believe it. Think of the meeting. Think of the meeting they had. And it's like, all right, this is all the shit it can't do, and there's a whole long shit it can't do. What do you think? Put that shit live now. Let's do it.
Yeah, and Nintendo's excuse is like, oh, we want to protect our younger gamers from offensive language.
Please, younger gamers aren't going to be able to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does that help by a phone though? Like, can you not swear through their phone app?
That's what I'm saying. You could swear through that. Oh, wait, here's the best thing about the phone app, right? Let's say you get a phone call, it kicks you right out of that shit.
Yeah, you got to start over.
You know, it's fucking crazy. And
I heard something that it's like separate sections or something. So if you have friends, it's not just one big friend list. It's per game because Platoon has its own Platoon ground.
This isn't
okay.
Yeah, by the way, Brett, before you go on, this thing isn't unified. Each game has its own way of doing this.
Okay, worse. It shuts off if your phone's screen shuts off. It doesn't even have the basic functionality that Pandora does. It does that same shit that YouTube does. We're like, oh, phone's off. I'm done playing a song. Fuck yourself.
Oh,
damn.
That's one of my biggest complaints about like anything with audio is I don't even care if it's a video. If I just turn off my screen on a YouTube video, you keep playing that goddamn audio until I tell you to stop.
Yeah, this whole thing's a mess, man. But I'm glad that at least the media, sees this for what it is, because usually media kisses Nintendo's fucking ass.
Oh my God, no, I'm sorry. This is like, wait a minute. Everybody's phone has a sleep function, right? Like, are you going to turn off your screen's automatic turn off in order to play through this thing? Like, do they really expect you to go through and change the settings of your phone just to be able to use this app?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to literally change the settings to your phone so that the screen never turns off, so that you're not halfway through a game when the screen turns off and shuts down the app, kicking you out of the chat audio. And there's no way that this works well.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not going to name any names, but I call somebody out. This is what I read, right? This is in defense of this thing. They're like, how come?
Who said this?
Oh, my God. So basically, this dude says, okay, so let me get this straight. People are complaining about all these wires and stuff that you need to chat on the Nintendo Switch, yet they're okay with all the wires you need to play PlayStation VR.
What?
All right, first of all, VR is still an evolving thing, right? It hasn't been, perfected yet. Voice chat has been perfected since the fucking original Xbox. The fuck out of here. But I did hear some people saying, "Oh, why are people complaining about wires and stuff? We always needed to deal with this shit." Not with voice chat. Voice chat is fucking standard everywhere, man. You can't excuse this shit, But yeah, when I heard that, I'm like, so you're gonna pair VR, a thing that hasn't even been perfected yet, to fucking voice chat? Come on, man.
Now, what I will say is this: if you want to try and level the playing field at all, and I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here. You could say that no system has just straight Bluetooth support yet. Most of the time, you have to plug your headset into your controller, which is then Bluetooth connected. So you could say PlayStation doesn't necessarily just allow you to hook in with the Bluetooth, even though I'm pretty sure it fucking does. So you could make a really weak argument there for the fact that what Nintendo would have to do would be to go above and beyond the standardized version of headsets, unless they wanted to put a 3.5 millimeter jack in those tiny ass Joy-Cons, which they didn't do. So you could say that they painted themselves into a corner. But even as I'm saying this, I'm like, this is just the weakest argument ever.
You can't even convince yourself, bro.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to see where anybody could come at this from a positive angle, and there's no saving this. There is no excuse for this. There's no good reason for anybody to have even thought this was a good idea at some point. There's some ideas that are dumb ideas, but you can see you were drunk. I can understand why you thought that McDonald's at 2 a.m. was a good idea. It was a dumb idea, but you were drunk. I get it. This is one of those ideas that's so dumb that you're like, really? Even if you were drunk, how did you you kicked a puppy? What? How drunk do you have to get to think kicking a puppy is a good idea?
By the way, I take slight offense to the McDonald's at 2 a.m. thing. Me and Manny have done that before.
No. I said
sober.
You cannot walk your happy ass up to McDonald's and knock on that window at 2 a.m. and have a happy response. They are not thrilled to see you. You need to be in your car or not fucking there.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if it's that way.
We have 24-hour McDonald's here.
I've walked up to a drive-through. There was one in Brooklyn that they allowed me to walk up. I was like, I don't have a car. I knocked. I'm like, and they're like, all right, whatever. It's money. It was like,
but yeah. Anyway, yeah, Nintendo fucked up, man.
Everything points to a redesign. That's all I think. I keep thinking that this.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they're gonna make a redesign eventually, and they're gonna fix all this shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, we listen to our audience.
What? Like I said, I'm talking on a headset that is plugged into a USB receiver. Bluetooth has that plugged into a USB receiver. Why can Nintendo just not license that shit? Is there? Can anybody explain to me why the exact setup that I'm talking to you guys on right now cannot work in my Switch? Because I don't think there is a good reason.
Oh no! Nintendo being Nintendo. I'm going to channel Chris now. Channel Chris now. Oh, there's one reason. It's called Nintendo.
Okay, hold on. Let me speak about Chris. I do have some quotes from him. He goes, like everything else, network multiplayer and VoIP is an afterthought to them. Look, even now they were pushing couch co-op. Tell everyone that MS from 2013 is calling, and they have voice chat through OG Xbox. Yeah, because Nintendo's the whole they're all about remember Nintendo actually said it's the Wii U has multiplayer, but to them multiplayer means couch co-op. That's not multiplayer, bro. Nintendo's just.
I don't mind that because everybody else has forgotten that couch co-op is.
Yeah, but at the same time, multiplayer is now synonymous with online. You can't say multiplayer is couch co-op. That's crazy talk. I'm
just saying it's nobody has it right. And both people are wrong. Multiplayer is both, not one or the other. To Nintendo, learn to get your online shit straight. To everybody else, learn that people have friends in real life sometimes. God forbid your significant other also enjoys playing video games.
Hey, Brett, you know what's funny here? Chris actually answers that for you, kind of. He said, I know Brett may defend local co-op, but let's be real. They don't care about real network multiplayer. And if they want voice chat, why is there no audio input or Bluetooth pairing?
Oh, right. I'm not gonna argue the fact that their online multiplayer is fucked. No, I'm not gonna argue that at all. And I'm not saying you should prioritize couch co-op over online multiplayer. I'm just saying that they're the only people left still doing online multiplayer or still doing couch co-op. And I'd like to see Sony at least take I'd like to see Sony be like, oh, you know what we can do? You can play video games with your friends in real life or with your friends far away. You have the option. I don't know why I have to go to fucking Nintendo to get couch co-op, and I have to go to Sony to get good, or Sony or Microsoft to get good online play. It just bothers me that there's not one platform that's good for both. So I'm criticizing everybody in the room.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, man, let's move on to the next subject here, which is actually kind of our featured image here. This is fucking ridiculous, right? This happened during EVO, which happened during a weekend, right? So during the finals, right? I don't know the name of these fucking guys, but anyway, they got through the first round, and somebody from ESPN made them stop, right? Go back to the character select screen and change the costumes of the characters. So which character specifically? Cammy, because it was deemed that her ass cheeks, digital ass cheeks, were deemed inappropriate for broadcast TV. The same thing happened with Armika last year. One of the Armika guys, they're like, oh shit, you can't be showing that on TV. Really funny because ESPN, they show women's volleyball, right? Actual real women. And not only that, they actually have like a ESPN magazine, right? The latest issue features a naked woman rock climbing, and they had a special for that issue on TV. So I'm like, okay, so you're afraid that you're going to offend people with a digital ass, right? That's in a leotard, basically, over a real ass from a, flesh and blood human woman. I know it's fucking crazy.
No. Just even I have to ask this question to just the infinite void of stupidity that where along the lines did it not become feasible for a woman to be sexy and strong? Where are social justice warriors or feminists or whoever the fuck is doing this? Where did you become afraid of the idea?
Brett, you're cutting out hardcore, man.
Sorry. When did you guys become afraid of the idea of the whole package? When did
these are people that had just never played God of War and saw that there was a guy pretty much running around half naked, and that's it. I mean,
I don't even mean in comparison.
They think that it's only women that are segregated like this in video games. They don't know men are running around half naked also.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. In guys, it's generally one or the other. You are generally smart, or you are strong, or you are attractive. With females, a lot of times you have all of the above. I can't wrap my brain around the fact that Wonder Woman got criticism for being too sexy, even though it didn't detract from her intellect or her strength. The fact that you just can't be all of these things makes no sense. And I don't understand, I'm just going to say it. If you're advocating this, how are you not the one that hates women? If you're just no, well, I mean, come on. A woman be smart and sexy and be able to kick someone's ass? Come on, we're just being unrealistic here. I mean, we're just being offensively unrealistic here. We all know women aren't capable of that kind of thing. They could make a sandwich or hold on a conversation, but not both. Who the fuck is saying this shit? And how do you even say that you're on the side of women?
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but again, I'm still trying to figure out okay, why are you okay with showing a female, actual real female human ass, right? But you can't show a video game person's ass that's still clothed.
Intent. Yeah. It has to do with intent. It has to do with the fact that somebody very specifically drew her ass and put it on display. At least that's where I'm pretty sure they're splitting the hair.
For volleyball,
here's the difference. What is Cammy doing? She's kicking fucking ass. She's not being sexy.
But see, that's the thing. She was drawn sexy while kicking ass.
But I think it's not even so much of Cammy. It's that last position that she does when she turns around and she just shows her butt cheeks. I think it's that. If they took that animation out,
that was edited.
That was edited in the
American
version.
Then they shouldn't be bitching, because if that was already edited.
How is it that Cammy? Here's another thing. How is it that Cammy was okay last year and not okay this year? They're fucking assholes there.
Well, last year it was Armika that was the problem.
But the thing is that there were people playing Cammy then too. So
yeah, they were. No, you're 100% right. Like, you guys don't even look at your own fucking streams, you know. But my point is, like, okay, Cammy was quote unquote drawn that way. Okay, what about those female volleyball players that look really fucking good? What about them? You know, God made them that way.
Because then you have the argument of, well, what are you going to make them wear burqas while they're playing volleyball? They're in swimsuits. They're in the appropriate active wear, and we're showing you the sport. We're not putting these women on display. Even though that may be the end result, it's not intentional.
Listen, let's just be honest, man. If you really wanted to, you could fap to those fucking volleyball tournaments, man. Let's just be real, you know.
I don't know why you would.
You can if you want. You can
if you live in a third world country with the internet, like or without the internet, like I guess.
My point is, like, you would have an easier time, you know, beating your meat to fucking women's volleyball than to fucking Cammy.
No, I know. Well, that's and I guess my point is, why are we so bent up over like sexualizing women when porn is just more prevalent and easily accessible than any other time in human history?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
You know what you have to do this day and age to see a naked lady? Think, I want to see a naked lady, and like pretty much that's it. Boom. Like, you had to work way harder for it in the past. Like, that's the reason when I was a kid, there used to be like swimsuit issues of Sports Illustrated, because there wasn't the internet. Like, it was obvious. They sold Playboys and Hustlers for this kind of shit. But like, now it's, you don't like who the fuck is fapping to a video game?
That's what I'm saying, you know. Come on, man. By the way, I do want to give a quick shout out to Jason Nansen for throwing some money our way, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Good amount too, $10. Thank you. Appreciate that, bro. But yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, like, man, I think you hit on the head. It's like, okay, you showed Cammy last year, it was fine.
What made it different? Oh, well, but because somebody else saw that? No, that's bullshit. If she was okay last year, she's fine this year.
Yeah, and here's the thing,
that's how you can tell that all this.
Yeah, maybe they were showing this when kids could watch it. Actually, the EVO tournament was at night.
It's at night, 6 p.m.
No,
are we asking this as like a principle?
This was 10 p.m.
It's 10 number one, 10 p.m. That's prime time. Number one. Number two, for that game is considered T for teen.
Exactly.
So that is perfectly in line with anything that is shown on there. I mean, fucking Baywatch was shown, and they had fucking thongs and all over the place. So what's the difference?
Are we legitimately asking this question, or are we asking like in principle?
We're asking. Wait. Yeah, no, legitimately.
Because like the actual answer is just the environment has changed, and gaming is under such a fucking like sniper's scope right now that anybody that goes near female sexualization is going to be the target of harassment because of the toxic fucking environment that we've all been put in.
Oh, but they're hiding it under, or maybe they're hiding. They're saying it's because of broadcast standards. I'm like, okay, broadcast standards. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah, that's bullshit. That's absolutely
even if it was a T-rated show, right? Like, that is perfectly fine. I mean, number one, usually fighting games usually get thrown under the T-rated line because people are fucking punching each other.
Yeah.
Broadcast standards have gotten more lax as I've grown older.
Yet you can't show a digital ass now at 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah, but people's people basically being prudish, that has increased the more that I've gotten older. It's a weird phenomenon for those of you not my age to look back at movies from the 90s and the 80s and see way more hardcore shit than you would ever see in movies today. Like, they would not, I think we've talked about this before, they would not make Neverending Story today. You know why? Because nobody would be able to handle their shit. It's
the
weird,
other thing,
this environment.
I'm trying not to derail it, but it's still along the same topic. I find it funny that when we were kids, right, or at least the older guys, when we were kids, right, it was like, people on the right that were the prudes, the conservatives, right? Now it's shifted. Now it's like the left are being the prudish ones. Very weird. Like, they're the puritanical ones now. Like they don't want like any skin showing now. Like how much skin do you have? I'm pretty sure they're gonna out there like with measuring tape. You know, how much thigh are you showing now? It's fucking nuts. You know. Oh man, I really think somewhere along the line we've stepped into like the whole world collectively just stepped into the Twilight Zone. It makes no fucking sense, man.
Here's the thing. I mean, to be honest, the thing that people should really, you know, again, we're so quick, at least in the United States, are so quick to show fucking people getting their heads blown off on fucking national TV, and that's perfectly fine. Walking Dead is at that time, right?
Yeah.
But heaven forbid you see a fucking naked person.
Yeah,
or even a person with an outfit that's a little more skin, has a little more skin on it. Whoa, my God.
Manny, your point isn't valid unless you back it up with something other than science.
Yes. Call back to a conversation you guys didn't even hear. Anyway, let's move on now to some confusing news. So yeah, Atari is out there trying to confuse the fuck out of everybody, right? With two pieces of news, right? So let's go for the first one. Okay, I think we talked about this before. So they're coming out with the Atari box, right? So, and the Atari box is capable of something. They didn't explain themselves. Like they said, like, oh yeah, this system is capable of playing classic games and new games. I'm like, what do you mean new games? New Atari games or like third-party games? What the fuck do you mean by that? Like they announced this thing, they didn't announce the specs. It's not even the real system. It was like a CG model and stuff. And it was the weirdest fucking announcement, man. So I'm like, what the hell is Atari up to? You know, I'm guessing that, you know, they're trying to make their answer to the NES Classic, but they're not being very clear about what the fuck this is.
Here is the one thing to remember about Atari. Atari is not the same Atari as who created all those classic games from the 80s. These are a bunch of people that bought the name Atari and own all the rights to all the games.
An audio company.
So they're just a holding company or an exterior company that's trying to cash in on the name of Atari.
But look at the technology they've advanced.
What, these guys?
Yes.
What technology has the current iteration of Atari advanced?
Oh man, they advanced hat technology by like 60 years. I mean, we're all sitting here with analog hats.
Yeah, I guess. But let me read some of this shit, by the way. So this
we haven't actually told people the story yet, I don't think. Like the full thing.
Wait, what are you talking about? I think I'm lost now. I'm as lost as I was the other day when I read
the second half of that. Okay, the weird thing about the weird second half about this story is that Atari has unveiled the speaker hat.
Yeah, we'll get to the hat in a little bit. I want to talk about the fucking console. The speaker hat is so fucking stupid. Oh my God. So anyway, so this is what Atari says. This is the actual fucking press release. This is what they say. As you can guess, those ports, talk about the ports, you know, from the back, suggest modern internal specs. It also means that while we will be delivering classic gaming content, we will also be delivering current gaming content, right? Who in a fucking press email says, oh, it suggests this? You don't suggest something, you fucking say it. You're confusing everybody with this shit. You know?
My demeanor would suggest that I'm irritated by that comment.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. I'll talk to that about that in a bit. And they ended with, we know you're hungry for more details on specs, games, features, pricing, timing, etc. We're not teasing you intentionally. Get the fuck out of here.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the fuck out of here. We want to get this right. So we've opted to share things step by step as we bring Atari Box to life and to listen closely to Atari community feedback as we do so. Not teasing us intentionally. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know, this is the biggest fucking tease. What is this thing? I don't know what the fuck this thing is. And then here's my thing.
It's an Ouya.
God damn it.
It's
anyway,
a fucking Steam box is all that it is.
I don't even think it's that powerful.
What new content are they talking about? Has Atari even made any games? What the hell are they talking about here?
No, they're talking about. They're almost definitely talking about third party. Yeah. Until they say what developers they have working specifically for them, I'm not going to assume anything other than the fact that they're going to try and support the kind of specs needed to be able to put third-party games.
You know, what is Adam going to be playing Wildlands on this shit? Like, what's going to be on this?
I don't think so.
Oh man, so yeah, let's talk about the second part of this story. So Atari today, they announced the speaker hat, which is a hat with speakers in it.
Oh, you just gave it all away, man.
Yeah, it's like, what? Really? My thing is, and I said this in my article, I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, hey, we have technology that kind of covers that. Headphones. You want to listen to music? You have fucking headphones, and you can wear any hat you want while listening.
Okay, that's just wrong, Tony. I mean, I guess if you want music pointed at your ears, but what if you need your music pointed at your eyebrows?
Yeah, I guess this thing would be perfect. And because you could also use your phone with this, right? If you want everybody to hear your conversation, this thing is perfect for you.
Oh yeah. Or you can blast your crappy music in terrible tinny quality to everybody within 4 feet.
Oh my God. And when I'm hearing about this, I'm like, can you just bring back the boombox if you're going to do that? If you're going to be annoying the shit out of everybody with your shitty music, bring a fucking boombox.
You know what was a better idea than this? Was the headphones that flipped inside out so you could wear them around your neck and force everybody else to listen to your shitty music.
I remember those things.
Yeah, the application is pretty much identical. Like the reason those things are annoying and terrible is the exact same reasons why a speaker hat is annoying and terrible.
That's it.
So I was hearing this story actually reminded me of it's too bad Chris isn't here, but reminded me of Chris's former roommate. And his former roommate used to make all kinds of like really goofy like things because he was pretty good at engineering or whatever. So one of the things he made up was something called the speaker vest.
Oh shit.
Which was literally a bunch of speakers wired together, and you could essentially attach a headphone jack to it, and then you could just blast music from your body.
I've seen people do something similar back in the day when I used to skate. You get some little headsets and some headphone jacks. You put it on your backpack, or in your coat pocket, and then you just play it. So you have your speakers. They're not Bluetooth. There's no Bluetooth at the time, but you have it connected to your Walkman or something, and it's just blasting so everybody could hear.
Yeah, so
everybody loved.
I think the one thing
that would work.
I think the one thing he had issue was a power issue because he was using like bigger speakers that needed to take a lot more power than maybe a bunch of smaller ones.
Where is he now?
Oh no,
working at Atari. Oh
shit.
You know what would actually be a really good application for these would be just sound clips. So like you could have like a rim shot and a sad trombone and just contextual things. Right? Put crickets on there for so that anytime somebody says something stupid.
This must be a joke.
Yeah, because I was
pictures, you can see it.
I was writing about this shit today, right? For news and stuff. Now, normally when I write news, I try to be pretty objective about it, but it got to a point I'm like, I can't with this thing right now. This is because I'm writing this shit, the features. I'm like, I can't believe I just wrote that. Like, no, this is nuts. Like, I'm going to quote myself here, right? The hat will eventually allow users to sync up with each other and listen to the same audio stream. It's also rechargeable. That's good to know because you certainly don't want your hat running out of power. That's a sentence I never thought I'd ever have to write. like your hat's running out of power. Think about that. This is the most insane thing.
Now,
and there's a Atari in the front.
There's good application. Like I would even see like maybe like if you had a jacket that had like little speakers up on the shoulders or something like that, like something that actually played somewhere around your ears. But like the positions on this thing of the speakers are they're exactly where you would fucking
think. Your fucking rim, it's right there. Like
it's on the bottom of the rim of the brim of the hat. In the front, like directly above your eyebrows.
I don't get it. What is Atari doing? I don't. So anyway, so they're gonna have.
They're doing 10 beta testers. This has to be a publication or a publicity grab.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's not even a form-fitting hat. It has fucking the little plastic connector shit in the back.
Oh my god, I don't get it. And then what happens if you like work up a sweat and you short circuit this thing? Are you gonna like fry yourself? Like,
or if it gets dirty, the hat's ruined.
Yeah.
Could you imagine dudes
can you remove the speakers from the hat so
they're
that you can put it in the laundry?
Yeah, this is a good question. I'm imagine like people at Comic-Con, right? Like, how people always sit by the chargers and stuff, the outlets, plug in their phones. Imagine a guy sitting down next to a outlet with his hat
charging his hat up.
Like, what the hell? Oh my god.
What is
So
wrong
we'll
with the
see,
world?
Atari. What happened, Brian?
What is wrong with the world? I just don't understand anymore. Like I honestly don't understand. It's like I'm just trying to like understand like why the hat is the way it is. Like, okay, if it's like one of those like beanie hats that you pull over your ears, then yeah, that makes sense because it's over your ears.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or like even like those weird, I don't know how you call them, like those woolly hats that you put over like your ears with like the
Yeah,
flaps.
the Russian hats, as I call them.
Yeah. That makes sense. Again, it's over your ears. That's where you listen to music, or at least that's where you can like vibrate like the bone to like hear the sound. But
I think it's for. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's kids
It's
that they
one
listen to their.
speaker here. You're gonna be hearing this through monotone or whatever.
Oh, wait. All right, so I don't know if you've seen this where kids, I see it around here and stuff, where they have music playing from their phone, but it's just like in their pocket and it's just playing. You just
Okay.
have it out.
I want to shoot those guys.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is for them. I think that's what it is. I think this is for them, so that way it could just stream it over to the hat, and they don't have to have their phone out or anything, and it's just constantly playing as they're walking and talking.
Oh yeah, because of the Bluetooth connection, you could actually have everybody listening to the same thing. I'm like, but can't you do that by just having everybody near you so they can hear it too? You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, what? I don't get it. It's like there's Bluetooth connectivity, so a lot of people could listen into the same stream. But I'm like, just get near the person with the hat, and you'll be okay.
Maybe it's not that loud.
That with regular Bluetooth headphones.
I don't know if I'm getting old, but this seems really fucking stupid.
Yeah. Okay, if you want to talk about getting old, not only does this seem stupid, but this seems incredibly characteristic of like millennial thought pattern. Like, I don't want to be mildly inconvenienced by not being able to hear what's around me while listening to my music, so I'm going to greatly inconvenience everybody else around me by forcing them to listen to my music.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like one of those stupid infomercial devices. That you see like at 4 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning. It's like, have you ever wanted to listen to some music? No need to use those headphones. What a mess! No wires, no nothing. Get the speaker hat.
But you know what? I wonder.
Perfect.
I wonder if many years ago, if this was the same argument people had with the portable boombox. Who wants to walk around with a big box speakers? Everybody has to listen to that shit, But it was popular. People did it. I think people actually walked around with big boom. But I remember seeing people walk around with.
I'm like, those make more sense than this shit.
I don't know.
That's because you guys are from New York.
Well, no, that music that was loud enough to fill a space. Like I carried a boombox around me. First of all, you don't put that shit on your shoulders to walk around. Anytime I saw somebody skating and doing that, I secretly hoped they fall. But you could get to where you're going and put it down and like play it in like the driveway while you're pulling skate tricks, or take it out to the park with you, or whatever the fuck you're doing. Like, the idea of filling a space with music is fine. Like the problem with this hat is these speakers are not going to audibly fill a space like to the point where other people can hear your music well. And even if they did, it would be way too loud because it's then too close to your ears for other people to hear. Like there's no real good middle ground. Like it's going to be too loud for you or too quiet for everybody else, even if these were good speakers. The boombox has actual functional applications.
Yeah, not this thing. Hey, Adam, remember the JVC Kaboom box?
Yep.
They used to advertise that shit on wrestling all the time, man.
Yeah,
Get the JVC Kaboom box.
People bought that shit though. It had a cool design.
Yeah, but yeah, no, boom boxes were like the big thing back in the day,
And then if you think about it, though, it's like, shit, there were Walkmans, and there were other things. I can understand if you're bringing it to a party and stuff or something, but remember, we saw people just walking in the street by themselves, blasting music. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you could do that with a Walkman. Why do we have to all hear you and terminate acts? Like, why do we? What is happening?
This reminds me of the sound bullets. Like the idea that, like, oh, it has a 3.5 millimeter jack, and it's just like this little speaker, and you're like, yeah, I mean, okay, like that's gonna be loud enough to maybe listen to it by myself at a desk, I guess, but why would I just not have regular speakers? There's not really a need for a middle ground between headphones and speakers that multiple people can hear.
Yeah, there really isn't. It makes no sense, man. But anyway, let's move on. There's some more dumb shit. Okay, so I think it was last week we talked about how there's no X-Men in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite because Marvel feels that nobody remembers the X-Men anymore, right? So now they've added a new character to the game that is wildly popular, Jedah from Darkstalkers.
Who?
Come on, yeah, my point exactly.
Oh, that guy! Come on, that guy from Darkstalkers, the one
guy that fights with blood. Yeah.
So let me get straight.
He
So
heals up, or the guy that shoots lasers out of his eyeballs. You guys know him from Darkstalkers. Like he's bald. He's in a wheelchair, controls stuff with his mind. Has like magnetic powers. You know the guy. Come on, guys.
So I'm like, okay, so let me get straight. So you bring an obscure character from an obscure fighting game, but you can't have X-Men because no one knows the X-Men.
Here's the thing. I give it to them. At least it's a deep cut because you're probably not going to get any deep cuts as far as Marvel goes.
You ain't get none of them, By the way, I find it funny if you're gonna have a Darkstalkers character and you didn't pick the vampire guy, you didn't pick the werewolf guy, you didn't pick the mummy guy, you picked the fucking I don't even know what Jedah is.
I don't know. He's like this weird, like a Grim Reaper that fights with blood. I don't know.
So I'm like, yeah, Capcom, Marvel, you're full of shit, man. You're full of shit. I have nothing against Jedah, but this is stupid.
Well, I understand. Listen, the thing is that remember, as far as Marvel characters goes, they're beholden to Marvel.
Yeah,
it's about what Marvel wants, as opposed to where the previous Marvel versus Capcom games where they're just like, all right, you have the Marvel license, go nuts. Yeah,
but now again, I just find it stupid.
Fucking Marrow was in the Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Who gives a shit about Marrow?
Yeah, but she was a cool, deep cut character.
She wasn't even fucking cool. She was stupid.
Yeah, but Jedah, man, I don't get it. But my thing is, again, I have nothing against Jedah. I'm like, you can't have X-Men because you're unpopular, but you have Jedah from Darkstalkers. Really fucking stupid.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna see a lot more of those weird sort of characters that make no, like, okay, really, all right.
Yeah, from the Capcom side, not from the Marvel side.
From Capcom, you're not gonna see any. As far as Marvel goes, you're probably just gonna see the usual fare. You're gonna see like, hey, look, it's Iron Man and Captain Marvel, and they're probably gonna have the fucking Ant-Man in there because he's got a movie.
Oh yeah, I can see that, and I think they announced Gamora is gonna be there because she's in a movie. Again, the only guy that
Gamora or Gamora.
I call her Gamora. Like the Godzilla monster.
Ghidorah, King Ghidorah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just had to throw it in there. Fucking dumb. And the last thing here. Oh, go ahead, Brett. What's your thoughts on this?
Apparently, it's just okay to lie to everybody all the time now. Like it's gotten to the point where it's like everybody knows that they're full of shit, but nobody's really going to say anything. We've officially arrived at this weird dystopian doublethink. Like I remember reading 1984 and being like, how is doublethink even a thing? Like how can you believe something but not believe it at the same time? But here we fucking are.
Yep. I forgot who I got this from, but somebody said that, like, okay, 1984 was a warning, basically, right? But now people have taken it as an instruction booklet, like a guide. Like, no, guys, you missed the whole point of that book.
Well, I mean, I did say something similar to that, where it's like, yeah, 1984 is a warning as to anybody can become that totalitarian government.
Yeah.
So those three totalitarian governments were almost exactly alike.
Yeah, that's right. But now, people. I'm not going to get into it. But
no matter what I'm going to say this: no matter what good your intentions are, the minute that you start to try to control people's thought, you become no better than the governments that are inside of that, inside of the found inside of the 1984. Anybody.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right about that. Again, it's not a guide; it's a warning. All right. The last thing here, I want to give you guys my, whatever they are, my impressions of fucking Destiny 2, right? Oh, actually, no, before I do that, I need to tell you guys a story. I almost forgot about this. I got to tell you about this Atari shit I had to deal with, right? So on the day I was writing that story about the Atari box, I tweeted out that, I consider myself an old school gamer, but when it comes to Atari, I feel like a newbie because I completely missed out on that era. If you guys are wondering, like, Tony, but you're old, how did you miss that? I didn't come to America until 1987. When I was 7, I didn't know what a fucking video game was until that point, right? So my first experience, besides arcades, was the Nintendo. Totally missed out on Atari. So I kind of feel bad that I missed all that, right? Because when I try to play old Atari games, I just can't do it. I'm like, oh, it's a little too dated, right? But I give Atari respect, right, for essentially bringing the video games industry to life, right? So I tweeted that. I said, hey, I missed out on the Atari, blah 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 blah. This one guy jumps in there and he's like, "Oh man, you're just an Atari hater." Like I could just sense the hostility in this tweet. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, where do you read that shit?" He's like, "Oh, bro, trust me, I know how to read people." I'm like, yeah, you're reading me wrong and you're a troll. I'm done with you." But this guy kept at it, saying, I'm a hater. So I go to his page, right? Nothing but Atari shit. And I'm like, oh my God.
There is someone out there like that.
I pissed off and discovered an Atari fanboy. Like, how did that happen? Like, I seem to attract fanboys from every walk of life. Now an Atari one, I didn't even know they existed. So I blocked his stupid ass. So
they are few and far between.
I pissed off probably 1 out of a million people, maybe even less than that, is an Atari fanboy, and I found the one guy.
Or he found you.
Yeah, I don't get. I'm like, the guy never followed me or nothing.
I wonder how he managed to get to your page.
I don't know, man.
I feel like what happened. Maybe did you write that Atari article?
I didn't. This was way before because remember, because usually what I do is when I'm writing an article, I typically tweet out stuff that is going through my mind while I'm writing it, but that I won't put in the actual piece. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't even live yet. Also, this is not related to this, but it's kind of related to it. Again, this is what I tweeted out today, right? I'm not going to get into it because I'm not a fan of this band. The lead singer of Linkin Park committed suicide.
Yeah.
Right? So I tweet out, I'm not a fan of this band, but I feel bad that the singer died, and I feel bad for the fans, right? Pretty innocent, right? Some guy said, "Oh, that's a hell of a eulogy there." I'm like,
oh, please.
Really? What the fuck?
All right, let me say it, because I'm a fan, and I'm disappointed. And their song that they just posted today, this video, it sucked. I gave it a thumbs down. I don't give a shit. Yo, the guy killed himself. That's his own thing. He wants to.
I'm like, but my point is, like, Manny, that guy doesn't follow me or nothing. I'm like, how did he find that tweet?
Yeah.
It's weird, dude. It's weird. Anyway, so Destiny 2. So the closed beta went live on Wednesday. Well, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the fuck it was, right? So I got a review code, obviously, right? So I was playing it, but as you saw from my live stream, that shit did not go off well. The game fucking crashed on me a total of 9 times.
Wow.
It was insane. It always during the exact same spots too. If you guys played the demo, it's the spot where you're defending like the launch bay, and then when you're in the piston place, the turbines. Always crashed during those two. I finally, today on a Friday, got past that shit, right? But the thing is, originally, I was supposed to play that and the multiplayer so I could do a write-up, and had to go to my editor. I'm like, I can't write about this game because I can't play multiplayer because the game forces you to play that single player.
Was it a known issue?
Yeah, it is. I went, because I was screaming about it on Twitter, and apparently this is a known issue for PlayStation 4 Pro, right? Because apparently the fucking thing just puts it out at 4K and you can't even change the options,
Wow. All right.
It's fucking ridiculous, even though I set up my PS4 to only output at 1080p, that apparently didn't help.
So if you have a 4K television, it'll work fine.
I think so. I think some people reported, no, some people that have 4Ks still had the same issue. Regular PlayStations didn't have this problem. It was the Pro that had this problem. Right. But yeah, what I played of it, I'm going to be honest with you. This shit is Destiny TOO, Destiny 2. There's no fucking difference. It feels exactly the same. It plays exactly the same. Like, yeah, the way the cinemas were presented and stuff was different and stuff. It definitely felt more cinematic, but it's the same fucking game. I know for Destiny fans, they're gonna be happy with that, right? But from what I played, even though I did enjoy the story bits and stuff, because it actually, you've seen those Destiny 2 commercials, right? Where they have a lot of like fun and stuff, a lot of fun banter. The game has that now, which is great, but I don't think this game's going to do a good job of convincing. If you weren't on board with Destiny, this thing is not going to convince you. I'm just being honest. It plays exactly the same. I know that's not a problem because Destiny already played really well, but it's not that impressive, man. I'm just being honest. It's Destiny 2, Destiny TOO.
Did it really though?
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not a fun game, but I will say that it is a trope and overused formula that has been done and redone and redone and redone and redone on PC.
I think you're talking about something different. I'm talking about mechanically speaking, Destiny.
No, I'm talking mechanically speaking. It is a half of an MMO. I'm
not talking about the MMO part. I'm talking about the shooting part. Like that, like if you could find me a better shooter, it'll be kind of hard pressed to, like the shooting mechanics are fucking tight, even I'll admit that they're fucking great, but
the shooting, okay, the mechanics of the way that it feels are good, but the enemy's reactions are pretty fucking terrible.
Oh yeah, but most games are like that. Where do you stand around?
That's half the game though.
Yeah, most games are like that.
Most games are like that, but not all games are like that. And so
not all, but most. So
when you're talking, like, I would even put Wolfenstein as a better shooter than Destiny.
I would too, because Wolfenstein is just an overall better game than Destiny. It has all the shit Destiny doesn't fucking have.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so just because a gun feels satisfying to shoot, but it has no impact on the target whatsoever, like, I don't really think that, and maybe I'm just being a hater here, like, I don't think that really gives the game all the fucking credit that it's being given, because everyone's like, oh man, like, for a shooter it is on point. I was like, what do you mean? Like, the guns feel good when you shoot them? I get that. And then when you shoot a bullet, it hits the thing that you're pointing at. I get that too. But there's another whole half of it, which is the reactions of the enemies. And like, you want to tell me that there's a game where you can bank a shot off a wall or hit somebody with ricochet bullets, or you shoot them in the shoulder, they get winged in the shoulder. Like, that's a good shooting game. That is a high watermark. I don't understand why Destiny gets this, why it's so
people
high.
Aren't looking for that. We've talked about this where people like simple shit, Oh, by the way,
what is it that's so good when they say that the mechanics? And I'm legitimately asking when they're like, oh, it is an on point shooter. Like, what about it is so on point?
Yeah, again, to me, and I'm just speaking for myself, it's the way it feels. And I kind of disagree with you. Like, I do feel that impact when I shoot an enemy. It feels like I'm fucking forgetting the word, but it feels right,
that's important, but that's only half the equation.
By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to my man OBJ Dedon. He says the shooting mechanics are the addictive part. He goes, y'all tripping. Best part of Destiny is the raids. By the way, OBJ, make another video, bro.
You have to make it to the raids, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but the shooting is it's just really, really good. Like, I mean, granted, I'm not the biggest first-person shooting guy out there, but out of all the ones I've played, it feels nice. Maybe not the best. I think you may be right about Wolfenstein probably being a better shooter because you do get more of a reaction from the enemies when you shoot them. But the reaction you get from the enemies in Destiny is still pretty good too, when their fucking heads just explode when you shoot. But at the same time, they are very moronic. But most games have stupid AI, so I can't really fault Destiny for that. I know that it could be better, but if everybody else is doing it, I can't really fault it for that either. My biggest gripe with fucking Destiny was the story. That was my main complaint above everything. They claim they're fixing it with this one, and it seems like it, but I'm still not convinced. I got hoodwinked the first time. I'm hesitant to do it again. If I get a review code, sure, but I'm not paying for it. I'm just being honest. Especially from what I played, I'm like, yeah, this is just Destiny 1.5. And I think nobody on Throwdown is really interested in this game, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm more hyped for Call of Duty. No, don't be so surprised, because I prefer Call of Duty. If it's going to come down to shooting, a good shooter like everyone's hyping it, for me, Call of Duty is the best. It just does it. Yeah, that last one sucked because of the world of being in space and shit, but the shooting was still on point in that game. I mean, that's why people like it. I mean, think of the format now. The standard is the Call of Duty format.
Yeah.
So obviously they did something right.
But at the same time, Destiny must have done something right, because that's probably like the biggest IP of this generation. Maybe Overwatch has overtaken it by now.
You know what it did? I wouldn't
What?
say right, but you know what it did? It is addictive Pavlovian rewarded behavior. Like it followed the same model that Blizzard mapped out to get people, stuck in their chairs.
You
like
said
it's
that shit,
addictive.
carried on a stick. That's what you said. You told me that shit. Like, Tony, you know what this is? It's a carrot on a stick. They're waving that carrot in front of you, and you keep going. Trying to get that fucking carrot.
Yeah, they use the trademarks of WoW and stuff like in MMOs that do have that addicting stuff, and they applied it to this game. And a lot of people.
Yo, Adam, you're gonna. I'm sorry, Carlos, to cut you off. Transcending Polygon said Titanfall 2 is the best shooter in a decade.
Yeah, that's up there. That's up there.
Sorry, Carlos. Go ahead. You were talking about the addictive quality.
Yeah, and like all that stuff, a lot of people were barely introduced to those mechanics, so they saw something new into that, and that led to hype, and that hype led to a lot of people playing it, and the inevitability of you finding your friends playing it. So it created this whole community of people that found this thing at the same time and got addicted to it. It's something they never felt before.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, that's to me, that's the main reason why I think Destiny was so popular to begin with, because when I started playing it, I'm like, what's this? What is this? It's not an MMO. It doesn't have a good story. Like, it has good shooting mechanics, and I agree with that. It's fucking Bungie. But yeah, other than that, the worlds were bland. Everything else was kind of bland.
Here's my question to you, right? Because you played MMOs, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think that most of the people that play Destiny that enjoy those MMO moments have never played an MMO in their life? Because I'm assuming they probably didn't.
Oh, they did. They absolutely didn't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If you've played a real MMO, Destiny, you see immediately, like, I see what's going on. Which does mean, like, I had fun with Destiny for a while, but like, shit, even for MMO standard, that shit was expensive.
Oh, I mean, yeah, keep on all the expansions and all that. I never really got into that, but I don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Destiny for the first month, but then I saw what it was. So it's just an endless grind.
I saw what that shit was as soon as I played that fucking demo.
Yeah, the first beta.
That first beta, I was like, holy shit! This is the rat in the maze.
I like the demo. I thought it was going to be great. I'm like, oh, this is a whole other world of Halo, but it got repetitive quick.
It was all there waiting for people. People just needed to look at it and see what it was, see it for what it was.
Even before the beta, when they said that this was a 10-year project, we knew that they found a formula that they were going to implement and try to get as much money from an experience as they can. Like, they're not interested in telling you a story. They're not interested in giving you something that you've never played before. They're just interested in like finding the right like formulas to like get people addicted and to make people keep going to that experience.
Can I make an allegory?
Everybody wants a universe.
Yeah, before you do that, Brett, OBJ also said he didn't want a real MMO. That's true. A lot of these guys, they want to just go in there and shoot shit, and there's nothing wrong with that. They definitely got that.
There's absolutely nothing. I am only talking. If it sounds like I am just dogging on Destiny, it's just because it's not my game. Yeah. And I honestly don't understand when I'm asking about the shooting mechanics. That's not me being like, oh, fucking explain it. Should be like, I legitimately don't understand. Like, reaction and AI are very important to me in a shooter. So when someone says the shooting is on point, I'm trying to decipher what you mean. And I've got I get the whole, like, it's a very satisfying. The guns feel heavy and they feel weighted and everything like that. But I feel like Destiny is like the Doritos of video games. And I don't mean that like a Mountain Dew bro gamer kind of way. I mean, the flavor of Doritos is kind of scientifically engineered and tweaked over time to be not too much of one thing and not too much of another, to be heavy on the front flavor profile, but not necessarily as appetizing on the back flavor profile, which is supposed to make you want to put another chip in your mouth. The first few seconds of the chip in your mouth tastes better than the last few seconds of the chip in your mouth. They do that shit on purpose, and they do that shit so that you tear through an entire bag of Doritos. And don't get me wrong, I love Doritos. I will still eat them. But that shit is scientifically engineered to make you just keep eating those motherfuckers. There have been people in labs in lab coats running tests with different chemicals to see exactly what the right ratio to keep you eating fucking Doritos is. And I feel like that's what Destiny is.
Well, we've said that on Throwdown many times. Like Destiny feels like a game that was engineered to be a success. It wasn't it wasn't created as a work of art, as a statement. It was created to make money. So this game was scientifically engineered to get the most money out of gamers and to give them that Doritos effect. Like, oh, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more. And it's definitely done that. Think about it like this, man. Like, what is it? 2 years now, 3 years after the shit came out, and people are still playing the first game.
Well, people are still playing Borderlands, and it's the loot system. People like to just keep
people like loot. Yeah.
People like loot.
Manny,
those people in their uniforms, engineered in labs.
Yeah, and by the way, talking in the chat, Christian says, "Okay, but some MMO games just get repetitive." Yeah, absolutely, and that's the part that that Bungie like took from them.
Yeah, OBJ says he goes, "It's very repetitive, but I enjoy the grind for loot, and a lot of people do. You know, they
get
enjoy
the light. You need the light. Nope.
Yeah, but my thing is like they still have light, but you can level up normal. But I got sick of it till a point. But my thing is, I'm not the type of guy that's going to be playing a game for more than a month anyway. So it wasn't for me. You know, I'm not that dude like playing the same fucking game over and over and over again. I got other games to play. I can't be doing that. You know, I just get bored with it after a while. Even if it's a good game, I'm like, oh, can I just move on now, please? I was so happy when Shadow Mortal came. I'm like, thank you. I can finally stop playing fucking Destiny. Like, I felt kind of beholden to the game in a weird way, you know?
Yeah, because that's the only game that came out that time.
That was it. Yeah.
It's not like
but it was addictive too. Like just playing every day was still, even when I got tired of it, it was still addictive. So I was so happy when something knocked me out of that shit, you know? Go ahead, Brett. What were you saying?
Oh, that's not any less valid way of approaching it than any other games do. You know, a lot of games are like, well, you're going to unlock your power sets as you level up, or you know, even in my personal favorite survival games, the way they get around that power creep is they're like, hey, guess what? When you die, all your shit gone. Start over again. So but if you're going to have permanent equipment, then you need to keep. You know, and in a game based on equipment, you're going to need to keep feeding and metering out stronger and stronger equipment, and then raising the power ceiling. I mean, that's the way that it is. It's a perfectly legitimate. It sounds like we've talked a lot of shit, but all we've really been saying is none of us really fancy that particular approach to gaming.
Yeah,
it's still perfectly valid, and we're not talking shit on anybody who likes Destiny. More power to you. I think both Carlos and I probably got our fill of that in the actual like WoW MMO days.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm someone that plays Heroes of the Storm, so it's yeah, like I can understand why people like do gravitate to those types of games, and Blizzard's king when it comes to those games because Overwatch surpassed Destiny now.
Oh yeah, but the other thing is with fucking Destiny is the social aspect, right? Our boy Kari Randolph, right? You know, Manny's partner. He specifically tells like, yeah, I just like going in there every night, hanging out with my friends. You know, a lot of people like that.
He's always playing Destiny.
Well, it's one of those games. It's got that group, the co-op group thing. That's the same thing I was saying about Ghost Recon. It's the same shit. It's just like, yo, you playing? All right, let's jump on. Let's just do some side mission, bullshit missions, whatever, and talk shit.
It's also the comfort. It's also the comfort game. You know what I mean? For a lot of people, I noticed.
Oh no, absolutely. Well, okay, I don't know, and Carlos might be the only person that maybe Brian can relate to this. Like, I remember playing Warcraft a shitload when it very first came out, and you almost get comfortable in the world. Like it's not what you're doing. You just, as long as you're in the world, there's so many things to do in the world. Like, you could literally be hanging out in a virtual world on a hilltop, just sitting around having a dance party, talking with your friends. You're not actually even playing the fucking game, but there's this weird like dopamine response happening in your brain. You're satisfied just hanging out in this world. And as long as they give you stuff to do, it doesn't matter how trivial or bullshit it is. They're like, go kill 10 sheep. You're like, yeah. There's nothing fun about that, but you're enjoying being in the world. And there's nothing fun about like, you know, training your crafting or you're fucking tailoring in the inn for 4 hours, other than the fact that you just kind of want to play the game, but you don't really feel like playing it right now, and so you just exist there.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I felt. I mean, I would be at school when WoW came out, and all I could think about is that world and being in that world. It's like, so what am I gonna do next? I'm just thinking about things about to do and stuff like that. Even to like an extent where, like in WoW, I didn't even use flying mounts for the longest time. I would just walk everywhere. Like if you walk from one place to the other, it takes a shit long time to do it because the freaking world is huge. So like I would just walk and be like, just walk around with a couple people, just talk and look and see the sights. As dumb as that sounds, but yeah, man, that world just like gets you, and you just.
Dude, some of my best experiences were in Ark, literally sitting around a campfire waiting for the day-night cycle to pass because I wasn't going to go out there in the middle of fucking night with all those things. And so you're sitting there on VoIP with like 3 or 4 people, literally sitting around a campfire, just jackassing around. Which actually is really fun. It's kind of the same stuff we do here. It's just kind of quality roundtable time and a social experience, which is weird to be like, one of my favorite parts about this game was when I wasn't playing it. Okay. And it sounds like you're talking shit of the game, but like it's very real to want to just especially have like a home base game where you just get comfortable with the mechanics. You go and you exist in there and you're a badass there and you're whittling away time. So it's not even so much the draw of like, I want to play this game as just like, I want to exist in this world. And as long as you give me stuff to do, I'm happy.
Yeah, a quick thing here. OBJ says, I agree with a lot of what you are saying, but you have to immerse yourself in Destiny to understand what it does better than most shooters. It's the only FPS where you can feel like a superhero at the same time. I can understand that.
I mean, you can also play DC Universe and feel like a superhero.
Yeah, but you can't shoot, in DC Universe. That's the difference,
You want to feel like you are in God mode all the time. Bulletstorm is still one of my favorite games.
Oh yeah.
Didn't they release that?
That got re-released, didn't it?
Yes, it did, which is why I brought it up.
What do you mean transcending Polygon's next topic? This is the last topic, motherfucker. All right, maybe he's tired of us talking about Destiny. Actually, I'm talking.
We talking about your baby, aren't we?
Yeah, right. Maybe that's why. You don't want to
talk about my baby.
You can't like everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But listen, I know you guys like Destiny. Some of you guys, so we'll cover it the best we can.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll talk. We're going to talk. Obviously, it's out there and people love the game. No, there's no problems we have with anybody who likes that game. But I mean, for a lot of us here, we don't really dig the game, but we still want to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I learned from the first Destiny, like I can't afford to keep up on that shit with, like, I don't put as many hours into it, and that's fine. I can be a casual in terms of Destiny, but like, motherfuck, that game gets expensive. And they do not do well with giving you discounts. Like,
and Brett, here's the funny thing: the game gets expensive, but if you wait a year, you get all that shit for the price of one game.
No, you don't, because they're fucking pricey. That's the reason I dropped out in the first place. Like, I missed the first expansion because I was busy playing another game, and then I had to have the first expansion to get the second expansion, which after buying a $60 game, they're like, oh, it's going to be another $60.
Yeah.
And I was like, so there's literally no way I can get around this. And so, like, unless I'm buying a $30 expansion every time, or I wait a year for it to come out, like if I had never bought Destiny, sure, then it would be a good deal, I guess. But like the way that they price it is fucking, man, like they're squeezing all the blood out of you they can. And I get that there's not a subscription service, but fucking Christ, man, I swear to God, I think I did the math on that. And like, especially if you buy your DLCs at the wrong time, you can spend like $200 a year on that game.
That's crazy. By the way, OBJ also says, I know people who've put in 3,000 to 6,000 hours in Destiny. Believe me, my 1,600 hours ain't nothing. I could believe that.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, how much time you put in Warframe?
Roughly, I think come up to 2,000 hours now.
So does that make it a better game?
Hold on, 22,000.
Oh, it is much better.
22,000 or 2,200.
Oh, 2,200. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 2,200.
I'm like, that shit. You must be
Brian
playing right
doesn't
now.
sleep if he's getting 22,000 hours.
Okay, let's not diminish the fact that 2,200 hours is a long time for a game.
That is
Anything
I don't know
more
how you do it.
than 500 is a long time for any game. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's like the baseline of like anything over 500 is too much. And personally, I think Warframe is better. People are not gonna like that, but I don't care. Like, I tried to get into Destiny, but you just don't feel like too much of a badass. That's what I don't understand. Like when the guy says that, oh, Warframe, no. When he says that, oh, Destiny is like the only shooter where you can feel like a superhero. Like,
Oh,
but
please.
Warframe does it better. Like Warframe, you look like space ninja, your space magic, no, your space wizard ninjas. Like you like leap off walls and do backflips and shit like that. In Destiny, you kind of don't. Like I think that Destiny is hampered more by its movement system just being crap. Like the jetpack is not useful.
If
Like
they go
Mass
based
Effect
on
does jetpacking right. I have to say that. Mass
Well,
Effect, the jetpack in Mass Effect is
Man,
amazing.
that jetpacking was pissing me the fuck off in that fucking demo.
I
man.
loved it.
In Destiny.
Well, oh no, sorry, in Mass Effect.
No,
it was-
that
it was
shit is great.
fantastic.
I'm talking about in Destiny. I'm like, that jetpack is ass.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good in Mass Effect. It's
What
funny
you be talking about, my baby?
Yeah, it's just funny about Warframe. I put about 6 hours into it. I'm like, I'm good. It didn't really appeal to me. I did have a little bit of fun with Riku because he was showing me around, and Riku was like, hey, like watch this jump. It's a little bit tricky, and I just copied him. You know, like, dude, I know how to fucking play platforming games. You know, and it was very natural in that game. It's like, oh, I could run off walls, cool. You know, but yeah, hey, there you go. Brian says Warframe. What do you guys say? You know, but hey, does Warframe have an actual story and anything like cinemas and all that shit?
Yep, they just released another like the second cinematic quest. So now they have like 2 cinematic quests, which may not
You know
sound
what
like
made me-
it's amazing, but
yeah.
the thing is, it's free. Like
Yeah,
you literally don't pay for it. Like it is free.
Yeah, you
I've
can't
probably-
complain about that.
I've possibly spent about £60, which is roughly $80-90. Like, what the hell can you ask? Like, I spent less on other games.
Over
No,
2,200 hours. That is a good return.
That is
Yeah, that's-
insane, man.
That's insane. Like compared to that, like how many? Okay, I bought like 3 copies of GTA 5. I possibly clocked in maybe 200, 300 hours.
That's still insane. See, Brian, we're on a whole other level, bro. I just learned that about your time. To me,
A lot of that.
anything over 100 is already too fucking much. You're telling me
no.
you're telling me 500 is too much. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we are on 2 totally different levels right now, bro. You know, because I'm like, to me, when your game starts reaching that 80-hour mark, like, okay, I think you got too much fucking game in here. You need to chill the fuck out. You know,
When I told Tony that I played 400 hours of Awesomenauts, he almost threw up.
I'm like, wow, that makes no sense to me.
Dude,
You know?
because okay, you it's just because you haven't reached far enough. When you pass over 100 hours in a game, you stop playing the game and start living there. Like even if it's not all that often, like I want to say I got well over 500 hours into Ark, and yeah, after a while you're just like, this is my space, bitches. Especially if it's an online game. Like then you become the protagonist in an anime where everybody is proclaiming to be, you know, a super badass, but only like 2 or 3 guys actually are. But everybody honestly thinks they are because they've been playing for 400 hours.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, you know how many games you could play in that amount of time?
Yeah, I can't tell. Yo, man, I put over 100 hours in this fucking Ghost Recon. You think I don't know? I'm tired of this shit.
But see,
I hate
you're
it.
tired of it, you know?
Damn right, I'm tired of it.
Yeah, it's different levels. Yeah, I'm like 100, that's too much already, you know? But anyway, that's going to kind of do it for us this weekend. I don't have any post-show shit, so let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are located down there in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez,
I'll see you later, guys.
Carlos Romero.
Do yourself a favor and go watch My Hero Academia.
Do it. Brett Murdoch,
It's been real, everybody.
Adam Vale,
Have fun. Watch Lucha.
By Fire Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, hold on. Fuck, I'm pissed.
he's playing games, man. All right, and Brian Majoma.
I got my 17th platinum on Tuesday.
My man, what game was it for?
It was for Invisimals. That game is actually pretty fun. It's like a weird, like 2013 platformer.
I think I've heard of that game.
PSN Plus.
Yeah, you need to get another Sengun Kagura game, man.
I'm waiting for like the Peach one.
And we will have a full review for you here on Throwdown when Brian gets that.
I got my 20. I got my 24 platinum with Life is Strange.
24. Okay, man. Okay, that's a decent one. That's good.
That one.
You gotta put some work into that.
They need to learn. Yeah, they need to learn from that game.
Yeah. At least put work in. It's not that fucking Mayo shit. That's All right, people. See you next time, man. Peace.
Later.
Later, guys.